Oh. It's and my dear students. Hearty welcome, sir. Accenture, we all know that it's a renowned firm in technology domain, and we feel very happy that Accenture is visiting our campus, Sri Krishna Aditya College of Arts and Science. So thank you for being here. It's connected, and by this evening it will be shared to the HR. We will be having the virtual round by next month. The mid of next month, we will be having the first round of interview. So that I will brief you. And this particular event is to brief you about what Accenture is all about, and what are the job roles that you are into, and how the recruitment is going to happen. So this is a briefing session. So I really welcome once again Mr. Vijay and Mr. Amit for being here. So now request the team to take over. Thank
Good afternoon. Another hour or so. Sincere, sincere apologies, folks. Can't say how much I sorry that so much. Been waiting here since what 1:30 or so is what I thought. All of you had your lunch. Is there any of you here who do not follow, understand Tamil? Everybody understands. So I can switch in and out of Tamil. That's okay for you guys. Check as I said, Vanakkam. Very glad to be here. I did my UG in Coimbatore. But as such is pretty close to me. So I'm glad to be back. So I did get to lunch after that. It's wonderful to be here. You have a hard stop at some time? You have a hard stop at some time? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. See, this session, the purpose of this would be met if you take back some info about what Accenture is, what does it mean for, what does it stand for, what does it offer, and where you fit in. Right? These are the things that we want to cover. We'll be covering a few things about the process as such. So, in terms of quick introduction, my name is Vijay Kumar Venkataraghavan. I go by Vijay. I've been with Accenture for around 17 years now, and I'm one of the associate directors with Accenture. Okay. So we have a lot of slides. I will not train all of them, but there are a couple of slides where I would want to park a little bit and then talk about it because those are very relevant for you. And how many of you are here from a computer science background, BSc, ComC, BCA, and so on? Okay. Yeah. Very good. Right off the bat, you do not really have to be from a technology background for the roles that we are recruiting for. So you can rest assured that everybody will be placed in equal footing. You will be trained exactly in the same skills and technologies once you choose to join Accenture. And that way, none of you are at a disadvantage to start with. So we will be covering in a nutshell what Accenture is. There will be a small video that will be shown. There will be a lot of numbers thrown at you. We will have a slide that talks about those numbers as well. I will skip through that and probably will pick some of those things as we go through the slides. Okay. And once you understand what Accenture is about, we will also be talking about how Accenture is structured. Accenture, then we will talk a little bit about how Accenture is structured itself in terms of idea, right? And finally, we will also talk about how Accenture is empowering its employees in terms of meeting those. Those are the top 4 5 bullets that we probably will cover in the next 40, 45 minutes or so. Okay. Any questions to start with? Otherwise, we will get going. And please feel free to stop me at any time and ask it. Okay. We do it for a living, right? So we can do it without the slides, with the slides, doesn't matter. Each of those slides can actually be presented for 2 hours, doesn't matter. But the purpose is met only when you right understand what Accenture is. What is the purpose of this meeting? By what is that you want to take away from this? Yeah, not a rhetorical question. What exactly are you looking for? Okay, first question. Yeah, come on.
Know about the company.
No, how many of you have some research about the company? No, I will not ask you any questions. No, no question. What is Accenture URL? It's an intellectual guess, right? You don't have to actually go in. Accenture.com, correct? Wonderful. Who's Accenture CEO? Huh? Recommend is our chairwoman in India. Julie Street is our CEO. Where is Accenture headquartered? And this is not a quiz session. But the reason why I ask those questions is because these are replacement talks, right? So this is going to tell you something about Accenture. We will talk about Accenture, as I said, we can do it together. But you will have to make an informed decision, right? So I start with this wherever Tamil is understood well. எப்பொருள் யார் யார் வாய் கேட்பினும் பொருள் எப்படி காணணும்? Doing your own research, right? Word for it. Even though we have a lot of industrial independent analysts that can vouch for what we say because they do assess all the industries and there are independent rankings, just like how Krishna and others also will have ranking, right? Krishna will be accredited to certain universities, to certain national universities, and you will have some cap on all those rankings that will list where Krishna stands in terms of infrastructure, academics, research, all that, right? So that's independent. You can count on it because they have nothing to gain or nothing to lose out of it. But if I come to your place and ask your correspondent about Krishna, you only say glowing things about Krishna, right? So take that, but do your research. But I can just assure you can just assure that this is coming from 17 years of being in Accenture. And 17 years is not a very, very long time in Accenture parlance because 80% of our leadership have been with Accenture for 20 plus years. So it's a pretty good company to make a career out of. And one more thing before I get into the slide itself, but there is a difference between a job and a career, right? We are here from Accenture to help you make a career. Okay? It's not just another job, right? So jobs will come and go. Those are transient in nature, right? But your career is something that you aspire for, that you are passionate about, that you want to build. That can happen only in companies that can foster an environment and that can help you make you thrive, right? So that is what Accenture is, in my opinion. And with 17 years, I can confidently say that this is what I have witnessed and experienced as well. So we will go with a quick video and then we'll jump right in. All right. So that is for those that are edited the video, right? Or for the background score, maybe. So what is Accenture's tagline? Yeah. All right. Um, Too many numbers would have bounced off your head. Some of the analysts that I spoke about, the fortunes, diversity inks, 80 spheres, you would have seen it there. Diversity Inc., working woman. So all that are testament, are those are friendship that can probably back our claims, right? Um, Now let's get to the next slide, please. So just focus on these. I will not drain the slide. I will just talk about the four businesses. That is our go-to-market strategy. So when we go to a client, we go as one Accenture, right? But within Accenture, we are spread across four main lines of businesses, so to speak, right? So Accenture Technology, that is where I belong, and that is where whoever is going to get selected, whoever is interested and get selected, will be a part of as well. So in Accenture Technology, we deal with systems integration, cloud engineering, network engineering, application maintenance, right? All those nice stuff. And operations is primarily Accenture runs certain functions or certain businesses or lines of businesses for our clients as well. By that, as an example, I can say a payroll processing can be outsourced, and Accenture can do that. Your insurance claims can be outsourced, and Accenture can do that. So those are some of the operations that we are talking about. And then in strategy and consulting, this is our primary bread and butter. We basically were Anderson Consulting before we became Accenture. So consulting is our blood in our DNA. And strategy and consulting is nothing but an arm of Accenture that basically goes to a client, a CXO level, and then tells them, look, this is where your business is, this is where your business is headed. At your trajectory, you probably will not go there. So this is what you have to do to get there, right? And for you to have this conversation, you need to be absolutely on top of your game, right? What is Accenture's core area or expertise? Services, right? But only with IT services, you can't really have this conversation with CXOs, right? Imagine somebody coming to your chairman and tell them, Mr. Chairman or Madam Chairman, this is where edutech is evolving. This is where Krishna is. And this is what you got to do to stay relevant 10 years from now, right? If we don't have the credentials to back what we say, you can't really have this conversation, can you? Right? And that kind of conversation is what strategy and consulting does. They basically provide a, a roadmap for businesses to constantly improve, right? To meet their objectives and basically get tangential results at the end of the day. Finally, it's Accenture Song. Accenture Song is nothing but a service of Accenture that helps with experience shaping. Uh, how many of you have heard about design thinking? Design thinking? No? So there's a structured way for you to ideate, right? ஒரு ரூம்ல போய் ஓரமா உட்காந்துட்டு ஒரு நாலு ஐடியா எடுத்துட்டு வர முடியாது, right? No? You can. It's not really scalable. So there is a way for you to ideate. So that is what design thinking is. And there are a lot of companies that specialize in. Ford is one, HAORD is one. Accenture acquired that in 2013, if I'm not wrong, right? So from shaping the ideas, from executing those ideas, managing it and running it and shaping the experiences. Experiences can be many, right? A customer that we are serving, um, the service that we offer cannot be just for that particular customer because at the end of the day, it will have to serve the purpose of an end client in most cases, right? If we are serving, say, a hospital, it will have to serve the patients, right? If we are serving a bank, we have to finally serve the end client of the bank. What purpose does it have otherwise? Isn't it? If it is not going to improve or enrich the experience of the end client or the end client, you are not really making an impact. That's why Accenture prides itself to be a trusted strategic partner and not a vendor. A vendor will come to go. Accenture stays the course. And Accenture is the only company in the world that offers such end-to-end services. Okay? Like this. Please stop me anytime. North Star, it's very similar. Earthோட axis வந்து the north side of Earth's axis will always point to the star, right? The north star. So ஒரு கம்பெனியோட நார்த் ஸ்டாரோ இல்லாட்டி ஒரு பர்சன்ஸ் நார்த் ஸ்டார் இஸ் நத்திங் பட் அன்வேவரிங் கமிட்மெண்ட் டு சம் ஐடியாஸ் ஆர் வாட் எவர் தே லிவ் ஃபார். ஸோ Accenture as a business அதோட நார்த் ஸ்டார் என்னன்னு கேட்டால் இட் இஸ் டு live up to the promise that we are making to the client in terms of using the human ingenuity with technology and helping them achieve their goals. So that is what Accenture North Star is. Next slide, please. So we were talking about a lot of Accenture is a market leader, Accenture இது பண்ணது இது பண்ணது. வச்சுக்கிறது தான் இதுக்கு நான் அப்படியே வச்சுக்கிறேன். ஓகே, right? So how do we stay ahead of the curve? Right? That's a question you can ask. Yeah, சும்மா வாயிலோட சொல்லிட்டு போயிடலாம். I can talk about a lot of things here. Right? At the end of the day, there should be a framework that should support our claim. Right? இப்போ என்னோட கரியர் 17 years with Accenture வந்து 3 ரெசெஷன் பார்த்துட்டோம். Right? Mortgage crisis in 2008, அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு .com burst. ஸோ இப்போ ஒன்று எமர்ஜ் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் you have to sustain, or even more so in case of Accenture, where we have come out stronger than ever before. That is only because there is a framework that helps us stay ahead of the pack. So in the slide basically talks about how we do that. Okay. So on the first video நிறைய நம்பர்ஸ் போச்சு. அதில் வந்து எவ்வளோ இன்னோவேஷன் சென்டர்ஸ் இருந்ததுன்னு யாருக்கும் தெரியுமா? எவருக்கா நம்பர் 200 நீங்க ரிசர்ச் பண்ணி கண்டுபிடிக்க போறீங்க. Okay. So there are Accenture labs. There are some 7 Accenture labs globally. So there's one in India, a couple of them in the US, a couple of them in Europe. There's one in China. எவ்வளோ சொன்னேன் மொத்தம்? France, Israel, India, China, 2 of them in the US, which makes it 6. One more in example. So those are the number of innovation centers that we have. Maybe there is one in Hyderabad. They have included that also now, right? So that is our labs and incubation centers. And this framework precisely talks about how we are structured. First, about Accenture Research. We have around 300 researchers, certified researchers, meaning they are actual scientists, right? Scientists are people that are part of a specific stream that are in neuroscientists, right? Basically, people that are who are involved in super specialty within their specific domain. So there are 300 plus such heavy duty researchers. So they will look at some emerging trends. See, if any of you are feeling uncomfortable wearing this and all, please feel free. And I am actually going to remove this. Yes, you are able to feel the AC? No? Feeling uncomfortable? No? If you don't mind, I will take it off. All right, much better. So these researchers will come and talk about Accenture about, okay, these are the emerging trends. For example, financial services, yeah, okay, this is how it is going to evolve. நீங்க வந்து இப்போ நிறைய branches physically பார்க்குறீங்க. 10 years from now, you will not have any physical branches. You're already seeing the transition. How many of you have even visited a branch, bank's branch? எல்லாம் ஆன்லைன் தான், எல்லாம் டிஜிட்டல் தான். And you know, there are banks without physical presence in India. Yeah. There are banks, they don't have offices at all, but they offer the whole plethora of services that financial services company will offer. That is all because of the change in the trend. So in our trend now on the predict பண்றதுக்கு Accenture Research. But Accenture Ventures are those incubation companies, right? The small startups that Accenture will invest in. Because these are the startups that are going to be leading the technology wave, right? ரொம்ப நிஷ்டா இருக்கும். பிளாக் செயின் மட்டும் தான் பண்ணுவோம். பட் பிளாக் செயின் ரொம்ப நல்லா பண்ணுவோம். இன்னொரு கம்பெனி ஆர்பிஐ மட்டும் தான், ரோபாட்டிக் ப்ராசஸ் ஆட்டோமேஷன் மட்டும் தான் பண்ணுவோம். ஆனால் அது ரொம்ப நல்லா பண்ணுவோம், ரைட்? அந்த மாதிரி கம்பெனிஸ் தான் Accenture will invest, right? Because those are the emerging technologies. Then you have these researchers coming up with these trends. So they will marry these two and say, okay, in the technology, இந்த ரிசர்ச்சோட ஐடியா வந்து சூட்டபிளா இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த ரிசர்ச் அண்ட் திஸ் வில் பி மேரி. அண்ட் வாட் யூ சி இன் லேப்ஸ் இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் யுவர் கிச்சன், ரைட்? ஸோ நீங்க பருப்பு ஒரு கடையில் வாங்குறீங்க, சக்கரை ஒரு கடையில் வாங்குறீங்க, எல்லாம் வேற ஒரு கடையில் வாங்குறீங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் யூ ஹேவ் யுவர் கிச்சன் வேர் யூ ஆக்சுவலி மேக் த ப்ராடக்ட் இல்லையா? ஸோ when you're actually doing something ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னா, ஒரு ஒரு டிஷ்ஷே பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னா, யூ டோன்ட் ப்ரொடியூஸ் தட் இன் மாஸ், கரெக்ட்? ஒரு 200 பேருக்கு சமைக்க மாட்டீங்க. ஸோ யூ டூ இட் ஃபார் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் உங்களுக்கு மட்டுமா இல்லை வெப்ப பண்ணுவீங்க. ஸோ தட் இஸ் வாட் யூ கால் அஸ் ப்ரோட்டோடைப்பிங். ஸோ தட் இஸ் வாட் Accenture Labs does. அதுக்கப்புறம் Accenture Studios பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, ஒன்ஸ் தட் இனிஷியல் ஸ்னிப் டெஸ்ட் இஸ் பாஸ்ட், தென் உங்களோட எக்ஸ்டெண்டட் ஃபேமிலி, நியர் ஃபேமிலி, நெய்பர்ஸ் யாரெல்லாம் வந்து திட்ட மாட்டாங்களோ அவங்களாம் கொடுத்து பார்ப்பீங்க. ஸோ தட் liquid is what happens in Accenture Studios. And once you master that, what happens? You will have a viable product. So, பண்ணலாம், நல்லா இருக்கு, this is market ready. Minimum viable product is ready. So, other one client you have to engineer it further because you have to go to the end market. So, that is what your innovation centers or hubs they do, right? Once you go to that particular, Accenture Studios do. Once you go to that particular client, you will have to reuse it across the client domains that we serve. How many industries we serve? Again, one more question from the video. 40 plus. Yeah. So what works here may have a relevance in 20 other places, right? So other part of the Accenture innovation centers and hubs are there. So once you do this, then you have to build it up to scale. As a category, you're ready to serve for the technology centers. Okay, so that is how this framework is now put to fit. Right from understanding where the market is going to be, what the trends are, getting a product and scaling it up. That is what we do, and that is why we are able to stay ahead of the market. Right, for every claim that we make, there is a rationale in it. Next slide. Unless you ask a question, I'm not going to pass, and I don't have time in that. So this is a critical slide. Whoever is going to get selected will be working in any one of these streams. Okay, all of you will be part of technology, like myself. First is working on cloud operations. Cloud operations, you all understand cloud, right? Give me one or two cloud operators quickly. Google, Amazon, iCloud is Apple's. Okay. Azure, Microsoft, yes. MyCloud. Oh, another. Redmi order. Oh, Micromax order. Okay. Very good. So, but these are all private clouds that they host. Even iCloud, for that matter, is only for iPhones, right? I mean, whoever is using iOS. But some of these that you mentioned, Microsoft's Azure or Google Cloud Platform or Amazon Web Services or Alibaba, all of these are cloud providers, right? Cloud is a very simple concept, right? When you go to a restaurant, or buffet, you will have 25, 30 different dishes. You like 5, you can tolerate 5 more, you probably 10 more. So, but you pay for all 20. So, அதுதான் வந்து பிரைவேட்டா நம்ம லோக்கலா வச்சிருக்கிற இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர். பட் அலா கட்டை மாதிரி வந்து எனக்கு இது மட்டும் தான் வேணும், இவ்வளோ தான் வேணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்றது தான் cloud. Because you will have a provider that will host the facilities for you, and you will be able to just in time get what you want. So, இப்போ நீங்க 50 மெம்பர் கம்பெனியா இருக்கீங்க, நாளைக்கு 5000 ஆக போறீங்க அப்படின்னா, இப்பவே நீங்க 5000த்துக்கும் வந்து நீங்க இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி வச்சீங்கன்னா கேபிட்டல் வேஸ்ட் ஆகும். கரெக்டா? அதுக்காக தான் cloud services. And the cloud services, lot of companies, that is the future. I mean, that is already here. Your college already should be on cloud, right? Or in the process of transforming to cloud. So on the cloud services, you can work. So strategy, இருக்கு. SNC companies வருவாங்க, researchers வருவாங்க, அவங்க பண்ணுவாங்க. அதுலயும் வந்து trend இருக்கும், right? All Accentures and the 5, you remember those 4, right? Technology, operations, strategy, consulting, and song. Everything will have relevance across all 4. Okay, number technology side மட்டும் strategy பண்றதுக்கு அவங்க இருப்பாங்க, right? அதை implement பண்ணணும், right? So அந்த cloud operations. Second வந்து network. So networkங்கிறதுனா மாடர்னைஸ் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும். So 2G இப்போ என்ன, what is the latest 5G? எல்லா ஃபோன்லயும் 5G enable ஆகாது, right? Certain handsets will be only 4G enabled, right? So அந்த மாதிரி டைம்ல you have to modernize your network constantly, right? So அதுக்கு தான் இந்த network. So ஏன் இது, why is it relevant? So take for example Netflix, so LMT, YouTube, or Amazon Prime. All of us are used to such high speeds now, correct? If those companies do not invest in modernizing their networks, எந்த வந்து 4G தான் ஒர்க் ஆகும் 5Gக்கு என்னதான் அவன் கெப்பாசிட்டி கொடுத்தாலும் என்னால சப்ளை பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு இருந்ததுன்னா யூ வில் மூவ் எல்ஸ்வேர், கரெக்ட்? அதே மாதிரி வந்து ஒரு ஃபைபர் ஆப்டிக் ப்ரொவைடர் இருக்காங்க. இப்போ ஐ டோன்ட் நோ வாட் இஸ் இட் கால்ட், ஒரு ஏசிடி or Geo Fiber, you have Airtel, right? So some of them are not really investing in upgrading themselves. What happens? You will simply move, right? So எனக்கு 5G கிடைக்கலையா, எனக்கு 150 Mbps கிடைக்கலையா, I will move, right? So that is what modernization. All these are very relevant in this time and age. Working on that modernization of network is the second part. Third part is digital workplace. So when you have a lot of people, see, you are the client for your college's IT department, correct? They will have to enable what is required for you to do your job, isn't it? Or your faculty's job. So நீங்க வந்து ஒரு லேபுக்கு போறீங்க, கம்ப்யூட்டர் லேப்க்கே போறீங்க, you should have the necessary infrastructure in place. OS கரெக்டாக இருக்கணும், அதுக்குண்டான சாஃப்ட்வேர் இருக்கணும், நெட்வொர்க் ப்ரோட்டோகால்ஸ் இருக்கணும், blah blah blah, right? The whole nine yards. அது பண்றதுக்கு அந்த டீம் இருக்கும். Yeah, that is the digital workplace. That is that team. Service and experience management is basically once you have all these services designed and built and given, and you have to still maintain that service, கரெக்டா? ஸோ உங்களுக்கு உங்களுக்கு உங்களோட லேப்ல வந்து ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு, ஐடி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்க்கு சர்வீஸ் ரிக்வெஸ்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ணுவீங்களா? Maybe if it is a small enough thing, you can call. Simply call. Somebody what about the purpose of okay. So there's be somebody to service that after executing. That is what the fourth one is. So these are the four main areas, in one of which you probably will find yourself in. Next slide, please. So please ask me any questions, okay? Some of these slides I spent even easily 15-20 minutes. But if you lack of time, only because of us, we can do that. But I don't want to take away this experience from you. So, another questions in the please feel free. We can condone later some other place. That's okay. So, yeah. I hate it to be opportunity. Let's turn out to be one. Okay. Right. These are the what we call as job descriptions. I'm not very sure. Either will it be shared? Just to be shared to you, so don't bother. The first one talks about cloud engineering. The first is the what is the job description? Some 3-4 high-level bullets are here, just for you to know what is that you will be getting into. Get out of the same knowledge. So now you okay. Next, please. In the test automation engineering, low code, no code, you are technically inclined. For example, some of you probably are already having programming experience. The recruitment process with the person, you'll be talk about one optional test that you can take, technical round, or optional validation. We strongly suggest and recommend that you take it. Otherwise, some of those roles can actually be selected. Next slide, please. Okay. Hold on, please. Yeah. So, basically, what is Accenture? Breadth, right? How is it really? What is it doing to stay ahead of the back? What is that you have in it for you in terms of when you join? What is that you will be getting into? What is the typical job description? What we will do in the next couple of slides. How we are only connected. We are the future of work. So in terms of driving those experiences, if a song yeah. So we are defining the future of work for the employees of Accenture. Because it is a relevant question. In post-COVID, hybrid working mode is the mantra. So this is what we do. It is primarily based on 3 fundamental principles. Flexible, right? So omni-connected. Same connection experience should be there anywhere you connect from. And you should be flexible enough to work from home or from office or any of the other Accenture locations, right? Third one is no one size fits all. So it should be customizable for your own project needs. These are the 3 things that it is based on. So we will run this small video for you to show what it is. We will talk about one very important slide, which is the core values. Again, what is Accenture's tagline? The only thing that has not changed in the 17 years I've been with Accenture is the core values. Okay, it never changes. Just like the North Star, will have to be aligned. Whatever policies, whatever the slides that we have, all of them will have a dotted line to one of these core values. So you talk about global company, there is a one global network. You talk about human ingenuity, there is best people. You talk about ethics, there is integrity, right? So we will talk about it in a little bit, but that's what we will do. After that, I'll be handing it over to Amit. So I actually ate into his time as well, so he will continue. Yeah.
Being included. This is all we connected. It's not equal quality of experience. Downtown. I love behavior. We build a sense of community in our team. But we are we understand collectively all need in our work and life. Also seeing connected doesn't mean we don't.
What I mean is that okay. Kalau berhasil yang memberi kok, okay. First time kita lagi apa? Change number to living our core values. There are 6 core values, okay? Core is how I remember them. Because after a point in time, it gets ingrained within you. But during my initial days, I had to have some kind of a small technique to remember. So, point value creation. We spoke about North Star, 360-degree value. The video about the another number. So that is what we talk about in client value creation. Not just what the client wants to achieve. In terms of what the client's client want to achieve is what we are here to meet. So that is 360-degree value creation. So some of those things that are probably not the customer is not even thinking about. Sustainability, right? We talk about sustainability all the time these days. Right? Yeah. How many of you come by cars? Some of those carbon footprint that we are constantly making, the ways to mitigate many of that is what is sustainability means. For you to build a sustainable future for your generations, and for that, how do you structure your organization, right? Because some of these are very, very large organizations. They can't really turn that easily. இப்போ ஒரு பைக் இருந்ததுன்னா அதோட டேர்னிங் ரேடியஸ் கம்மியா இருக்கும், டக்குன்னு திரும்பிடலாம். பட் ஒரு 16 டயர் மல்டி ஆக்சல் லாரியால டக்குன்னு திரும்ப முடியாது. இட் வில் நீட் அ larger turning radius, right? So it will take time, but you will have to still do it. You turn at the so and the you will have to still consider. And some companies may not even be thinking about it, right? So that is where you provide that 360-degree value. One global network. We spoke about human ingenuity and how many employees we have in Accenture, another numbers. So all these numbers are integrated to these slides actually. 7 lakhs. How many of them in India? Okay, 3 lakh of that is in India. The reason why that number is important is because you need to realize that how much ever global Accenture is, it is as much local. Because ஒரு Accenture ஒரு policy கொண்டு வரணும்னா it should work for 3 lakh people in India. 3 lakh is what? How much percentage of 7 lakh is 3 lakhs? டக்குன்னு சொல்லுங்க. Okay. So 40% of the population work பண்ணணும்னா it should be India centric. Right? So any policy, any process that we have will work. கண்ணபடி நம்ம சொல்லுவோம். ஏன்னா it has to work. Otherwise it will fail. Right? I think one global network also will leverage the key skills from multiple places in the globe. Europe, in some countries like Spain, you have a lot of mainframe, right? But India, West Bengal, there is a lot of SAP. Chennai, there is a lot of health and public service related domain knowledge, right? Mumbai, Pune, there is a lot of automation related skills available. So these are all distributed. Whether we built it that way or that is how it is coming up, that is how it is at this point in time. So leveraging it is important. Respect for individuals, absolutely important. That is why I keep repeating myself. Very, very, very sorry for making you weak. This individuality is treasured in Accenture. Okay, not everybody comes with the same set of skills. Not everybody is everybody's journey is going to be the same, right? So from point A to point B, நீங்க வந்து C போயிட்டு வரலாம், D க்கு போயிட்டு வரலாம், straight up போலாம், right? How you go is yours. I mean, you'll have to align with the company's goals and core values, obviously, but you will eventually get there. License will be there every step of it, right? கையை தூக்கிட்டு எனக்கு இது தெரியலப்பா எனக்கு ஹெல்ப் வேணும் சொல்றது is a welcome culture within Accenture, right? So the reason why I'm here for 17 years is also primarily because of respect for individual and the stewardship culture, because those are the things that help you build a career in any company. Best people in this room, obviously there are scores of talent. Coimbatore is definitely a special place when it comes to talent. So people are the fundamental building block. Integrity, literal meaning of the word, correct? What you think is what you speak is what you action. That is all, very simple, right? If you deviate, you're not there. That reflects in what credential of Accenture. எல்லாருக்கும் வருது. Ethisphere-ஓட 15 years consecutively most ethical companies to work for. So 15 years is not a joke, right? Unless it is built in your career, in your culture, in your DNA, this is not possible. So integrity is taken very, very seriously in Accenture. And recruitment process சொல்லும்போது சொல்லுவார், நீங்க அந்த கேமராவை பார்த்துட்டே இருக்கணும், கொஞ்சம் டிவியேட் பண்ணா கூட பிரச்சனை சொல்லுவார். ஏன்னா அதெல்லாம் வந்து இதுல வருது. Stewardship is nothing but ownership, right? நீங்க இண்டிவிஜுவல் கான்ட்ரிபியூட்டரா இருக்கலாம், டீம் லீடரா இருக்கலாம், ப்ராஜெக்ட் இருக்கலாம், ஓகே, மேனேஜிங் டைரக்டரா இருக்கலாம், அசோசியேட் டைரக்டரா இருக்கலாம், doesn't matter, right? நீங்க you should approach your job as if you have this owner's mentality. Accountability is what is otherwise called as, right? So ஒரு வேலை கொடுத்தா ஓகே பையன் என் வேலை முடிஞ்சிருக்கும். ஏன்னா ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்றதுக்கு it is not always, in fact it is never a one person job, correct? So how strong is the chain? The chain is as strong as its weakest link. நிறைய செயின் விரும்பி போட்டு கட்டி வச்சிருவாங்க, ஒரே ஒன்று மட்டும் வீக்கா இருக்கு, மற்றதெல்லாம் செம்ம ஸ்ட்ராங்கா இருக்கு, பிரச்சனை இல்லை. அந்த ஒரு இடத்த தட்டினா செயின் உடையதான் உடையும். So when you are talking about a project, when you are talking about team environment, you have to coexist. Okay. Stewardship does not talk about that. Right? Here I will hand it over to Amit. Thank you so very much for being very patient. I would have appreciated a lot more questions. I'm hoping that you probably are reserving some of those questions for the end Q&A. Please do ask. Okay.
Interactive guys.
Yeah.
Team is here mainly to.
Yeah. And என்ன கவுண்ட் எது அந்த கவுண்ட் பண்ணி தான் சொல்லுங்க. வேன் எல்லாம் வச்சு கடத்திருக்கோம் பண்ற மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபிளைட் எல்லாம் எடுத்து வந்துருவோம். கேள்வியே கேட்காம அனுப்பிச்சு ஆன்லைன்ல அப்படியே பண்ணிருப்பாங்க, இல்ல ரெக்கார்டிங் அனுப்பிச்சிடலாம். கரெக்டா?
நீங்க இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணுங்கறத எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்றாங்க.
ஓகே, எங்களுக்காக இல்ல, உங்களுக்காக தான். I just want to make sure that my visit here, Amit's visit here is justified. Okay. I mean, சொன்னது அவ்வளவு கிளியரா உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சிருக்கலாம். That is okay. அப்படிதான் இருக்குது. பட் இல்ல கேள்வி இருக்கு. Okay. Thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vijay. Hey guys, good afternoon. First of all, really sorry for being late. I am one of the reasons for being late as well. So I'll tell you the story later outside why we were late. So, technology with the basing, we spoke about Accenture, what Accenture is. And now we are going to talk about what I'm going to get, which is you. Okay. எனக்கு என்ன இருக்கு இது? நான் என்ன gain பண்ண போறேன்? Okay. What is the work that I'll be doing? These are the points that I'll be discussing on. I'll be discussing for maximum 15 minutes and then we can. The first point what we are going to talk is on the pride. The work what you're going to do, definitely you're going to get the pride for it. Right? Whatever you're doing, you need to be proud of it. Right? Anyone here who is not proud? Anyone? No? Everyone is proud of what you are doing, how you are, and all of this. Right? Okay. So all this pride kind of work that you will be doing in Accenture. Point number 2, mental health and wellness. I'll touch upon this further in further slides as well. A small brief here is mental health means how well or hope you're not stressed on the work and so. Okay, you won't be liking if you're working stressed from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Correct? Okay, you want mental wellness as well. You don't need to be stressed all day. and the kind of stress-free environment that you want around your workspace is what is it. Yeah, that is useful. And cross culture. What is cross culture? What is cross culture? Anyone? Anyone? What is cross culture? Different. Exactly. People from different cultures work together. Exactly. Okay. So what we just spoke about, we have around 3 lakh employees in India. Okay. Itself is a diverse culture. Okay. So what you have a lot of cultures around your offices that you will be working in. Disability and inclusion. This talks about the different able people who are physically challenged. Okay. Opportunities for these type of employees are also provided. And then going to other focus areas, which is diversity and inclusion, which I will talk in detail. We'll go further and just see one video about diversity and inclusion. Just watch this video very carefully. This is very powerful video for you. Interesting, right? Anyone wants to talk about this slide, about the video? Anyone inspired? Any one line, two line? Raise your hands. Nobody? Yes. Right. Anyone? Sure. Reaction. Okay, very good. One line inspiration. Anyone else? Anyone getting inspired? Yeah, no. Be proud of who you are. Excellent. Claps for him. Yeah, the previous one also is very powerful. Very powerful. See, you have to believe in yourself. That is what Ramesh was talking about earlier also. Right? Be yourself. Don't leave your individuality. See, 700,000, 300,000 are not very, very big numbers, right? But within each of those numbers is an individual that make up those numbers, right? A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a, so you still have to build that 700,000 brick by brick organically. And for you to be individual is how you will be able to stand out in the crowd, right? Of course, there are certain things that you will have to do as part of the culture, as part of the team ethics and all that, but still be yourself, not just in the true spirit of the professional word, but as you saw with sure, doesn't matter. And that is what the first one pride also has within it, right? It can be anything. It can be your orientation, it can be your gender orientation, sexual orientation, doesn't matter, right? So be yourself, own it. Accenture's policies will support it, right? So that is what you will have to take away. It's a very, very powerful story, and it is something that Accenture truly will. Yeah. Let's talk about iAspire. This iAspire platform is specifically launched for the students who are going to join Accenture. Okay. This platform is where you can just move to the next slide. This platform is only about the training that you can go ahead, register yourself, and learn on your own. Okay. There are many trainings that are available in this website. You will receive this website over an email as well. Once you give the data to us, we will be releasing those email to you with the credentials and details. You can log in here. Each training that you complete, you're going to get certain points over there, and that points will help you enable some advanced training further, which will help you to work in Accenture or self-development. Okay. So please be aware about this email that you receive. Don't ignore this email. If you see in one of the slides, we have actually invested 1 billion plus amount in training only. I was about to say that. Yeah, another number that I wanted to yeah, use against this slide. So 1 billion is a lot of money, correct? It is actually some of our competitors' quarterly revenue or monthly revenue also for that matter, right? So the reason why Accenture has to invest so much, that is what is the net worth of Accenture also, because at the end of the day, Accenture is a business. And what is one objective, main objective of a business? Huh? To make money, correct? But why do they do that? It is because there is a what is in it for Accenture also. So I was talking about the technology changes, right? Let there be change, actually, is the definition of that. So mainframe, then the client server worth 10 years, actually. 10 client server, then the web technology is worth another 10 years. But other mobile technology, RPA, IoT, artificial intelligence, metaverse, இதெல்லாம் in quick succession. 2 years, 3 years, அவ்வளவுதான் ஒரு டெக்னாலஜி ட்ரெண்ட் these days. கரெக்டா? ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது வாட் டஸ் அ கம்பெனி லைக் ஆக்சென்ச்சர் டூ 3 லட்சம் பேர் வச்சிருக்கோங்க. ஸோ டெக்னாலஜி ஸ்கில் அவுடேட் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா எல்லாரையும் அமைச்சிட்டு வேற புதுசாக அந்த டெக்னாலஜி தெரிஞ்சவங்களை எடுக்க முடியுமா? ப்ராக்டிக்கலா, லாஜிக்கலா? Right? But they do it very methodically. And that is what is in it for you also. நீங்களும் வந்து you have to constantly be upgraded, right? அதே 10 வருஷமா முன்னாடி நான் என்ன வருஷம் அதே நினச்சு நீங்க உட்காந்துருந்தா இருக்க முடியாது. Right? You have to constantly evolve. And actually it does help with that. And that is what this I aspire is for. Moving further, there's one important point that we wanted to discuss. It's not only about the career that we are talking about here. Okay, it's about your passion as well. I know most of you are passionate about your extracurricular activities and so. Okay, so there's a small video for you once again, a powerful video. Just go through this. Let's also talk about where you can enhance your passion. Yeah. These are not the paid actors, okay? These are actual employees who are doing this in Accenture. Okay. So this is not just for the video purpose. This actually happens in Accenture every year. You have anything to add in, Vijay? Or you could- No, that's what I mean. When we are talking about my passion, many of us probably are pursuing one at this point in time, finance or sports. You don't have to forget one to achieve something else. That is the key takeaway from this, right? You have avenues within Action, just like how you have clubs within here, right? You have technical finance clubs. So you have very similar clubs. They are like-minded people. You can act out your passion, but it's absolutely no problem. From here, it's very important for you guys to understand on the recruiting process. Okay. You can note down the points if required, or this will be explained to you in detail, and the email will be sent to sir as well. Uh, First of all, who's eligible to apply for this recruiting process? Anyone who's from non-engineering background can apply. Okay. So this is a detail about which is the discipline who can apply. So any candidate who is a non-engineering background can apply for this role. Let's move forward. And first, we talk about the eligibility criteria. First eligibility criteria is you need to be a 2023 pass out. Everyone here is a 2023 pass out, which is current year. Yes? Yes? Okay. Point number two, no active backlogs at the time of applying to Accenture and at the time of onboarding. Understood? Any doubts in this? Okay. Point number three, complete
relevant degree or graduation in the stipulated time, which means if your graduation is for 3 years, okay, you should have completed that within that 3 years. You should not have taken 4 or 5 years. Understood? Okay. Gap in education is fine. Like for an example, if you are 12th and there is a gap in between, and then you took your graduation after a year, that is fine. But if your graduation is for 3 years and you have taken more than 3 years to complete, then it is not under the eligibility. Understood? Okay. You must be eligible to work either by citizenship or you should have a relevant work permit to work in India. I'm sure no one here from other citizenship, right? And you shouldn't have applied to Accenture recruiting process in past 3 months. Okay, these are the main eligibility criteria for applying for this role. Okay, that's okay. Before going to the last note, I'll just talk about what is the recruiting process, which is very important for you guys to understand. First, all of you guys have registered. Registration is done. Okay. Now, first, while the assessment is going to start, day zero, you will be receiving a mock assessment link. Okay. Everyone will receive a mock assessment link based on the eligibility criteria. Okay. If you are disqualified on the eligibility criteria, you will receive an email that you are not eligible for this. Okay. Now, you receive an email to take a mock assessment. What is mock assessment? Is a trial assessment that you're going to take to check if your laptop specification is meeting the assessment tool. Okay. The first round, day zero, you will have the mock assessment. Mock assessment, there is a link in it, and also there is a paragraph which talks about the laptop specifications that you need to acquire. The RAM you need to have, which is the processor that you need to have, which is the browser you need to have, all those things. Understood? And also there will be a link which is called SEB, which is Safe Exam Browser. Okay. This has to be installed in order to take the mock assessment as well as the actual assessment. After installing this SEB, when you're taking mock assessment, it will not allow you to move to one browser to another browser. Okay. Alt tab will not help you toggle. You will be just staying on that screen. The camera will turn on. Slight movement on your face will be detected. Okay. Even the fan sound is captured in it. So make sure you are in a very quiet place while you're taking this. Okay. This AI is very powerful, wherein a small movement or any suspicious movement or continuous movement that you do on the camera screen will be captured and it will be a person who will sit and manually review it. It's obvious that we sit with our family and sometimes those sounds are heard in the those are it is again reviewed individually each videos if there are suspicions. Okay. Now first round, day zero mock assessment done. Okay. Mock assessment and actual assessment has to be taken on the same laptop where you have installed the SAB. Understood? Yes, no? Okay. All of you say yes or no. Okay. I just can't understand this. Okay. Now, mock assessment is done. The first round assessment is cognitive and technical assessment. Cognitive assessment, day one. Cognitive assessment is a elimination round. Please note, cognitive assessment is an elimination round. If you don't clear this assessment, you will not move forward. Okay. Under cognitive assessment, there will be numerical thinking. Sorry, can you hear me? Numerical thinking and basic numerology assessment kind. Okay. Or you will have about analytical thinking questions. These type of questions you will have in cognitive assessment. This is nothing on the technical part. Second round, once you clear the cognitive assessment, you will move to the second round. Second round is technical assessment. This technical assessment is not mandatory to attend and it is not an elimination round. Understood? Not mandatory to attend and not an elimination round. But it is recommended for you to go ahead and attend the technical assessment, which will help us gauge what is your technical ability. Okay. So it is not an elimination and not mandatory, but we recommend you to. Okay. This will happen on day one. Cognitive assessment. After clearing the cognitive assessment on the screen itself within 15-20 minutes, the result will be popped out that you are cleared or not. If you are cleared, it will allow you to take technical assessment. And you have to shut down the lab. To move further, cognitive assessment is not an elimination round. You have to just attend it. So technical. Okay. Now there is a gap in between, which is day two, and day three. You will have communication assessment. Communication assessment is IVR based. Like for an example, you call a bank and bank instructs you to plus one for this service, plus two for this service, and so, or tell your account number, you will tell the account number. Similarly, like this, you will be interacting with IVR on the laptop. A sentence that you need to read out. There will be a sentence that you need to read out, or you need to listen to the IVR voice and repeat what the IVR voice that you hear. The assessment is about for 20 minutes. This assessment is not an elimination round, but mandatory to attend. Understood? Okay, not elimination round, but mandatory to attend. Now, day four is again a break, and day five, you will have interview. Okay, interview will be one on one with our associate manager and above level. And this is not going to be any technical interview. Okay, we have clearly instructed our interviewers that this interview will not be on anything technical. The interview questions will be only based on how innovative and collaborative you are. Understood? These are the only two parameters that any interviewer will check. This is clearly instructed to the interviewers. Okay. Now, anyone can clearly tell which is the first round? Is cognitive assessment elimination? Yes. No? Assessment is mandatory. Technical assessment is not mandatory. Okay. But it is recommended. Please try. Okay. You know what your communication assessment is not mandatory. Elimination round and interview not mandatory. Yeah. Is that an elimination? Yes. Okay. Interview until interview is not an elimination round. Okay. However, interview score also is considered. While we are identifying a candidate, we will check the overall scores of all the assessments that you have taken. Okay, not only interview or not only cognitive assessment. You should have scored well in all the assessments. Understood? Okay. After this, very important thing, yeah, you spoke about everything, technology, yeah, blah, blah, everything is fine. What is the compensation? Anyone interested to know? No? No, they are not interested. Those who can stay back after 4, we will tell. Yeah. So, you will hear about the compensation. A detailed breakup will be given to you in the offer letter. However, the overall compensation, whatever we offered for this role is 3.4 lakhs, which is divided as fixed pay and variable pay. And the bonus that will be paid for you based on your performance. And apart from this compensation, will be life insurance, medical insurance, and other benefits that it will be discussed with you. I know we have very less time. We can take few questions. If not, we both will be available here for 15-20 minutes. If you have any questions, you can come and ask us. Okay. I know you have a bus to catch at 4. We have 5 minutes. I'm really sorry again for the delay that we made. Please proceed. Let us know if you have any questions for 5 minutes. Any important questions, please raise your hand and we can address. Doubts, you can ask. Yes.
Week off. Take week off. Generally, for 99% of the population, it will be Saturday, Sunday. Right? Only 5 days a week, 9 hours per day. Okay? Whether it will be slightly different will depend on the project that you get in. Some of those could be support projects where you will have to support the client at their time zone, at their holidays. So if it's a US client, US holidays will apply. If it is, British holidays will apply. If it's a Middle Eastern client, then your Friday and Saturday will be your off and Sunday will be working. So it could change depending on the client that you serve. But majority, right, 98% will be standard.
Job location.
Okay. No, San Francisco, Washington, DC. That is very, very real. Not kidding at all. Those are real aspirations that can easily be met. But உங்களோட கொஸ்டினுக்கு வந்து there are three options given. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You can choose your first preferred, second preferred, and third preferred options within India, right? Majority of the cases, recruitment team will, HR team will help fulfill your first preference, right? Very small cases, it probably will spill down to your preference. We recently opened an office in Bangalore. That's there. Yeah. Any questions? Let's be quick. Huh? Work from home. Yeah. Yes. Our future tour, ஒரு வீடியோ எல்லாம் போட்டு காமிச்சேன். That's very apt question. So you will have an option to work from home. It is an hybrid environment, not one size fits all. So எவ்வளவு நாள் ஆஃபீஸ் பார்க்கணும், எவ்வளவு நாள் வீட்டில் இருக்கலாம் அப்படின்றதுலாம் it will depend on the project that you are going to serve and whether the project will require your on-premise presence. எவ்வளவு நாள் தேவைப்படுவது பொறுத்து. But it will be an hybrid environment for all that we know, right? I don't think we are ever going back to pre-COVID days where everybody will have to go every day. அப்படி வராது. Allowances. See, compensation is just one aspect of the benefits. Okay, Accenture believes in total benefit mantra. Also, just compensation is just one portion. There are, for example, office transport, and the shuttles along of the free of cost. Okay, so gratuity is on top of it. Medical insurance is provided. And there are wellness aspect. There are a lot of healthcare providers. Doctors for online consultations, அதெல்லாமே are provided for you. So there is a portal that you will have to register as an employee. அதுக்கப்புறம் you will be having access to all of that. In fact, COVID time Accenture went to great lengths in tying up with hospitals, especially during the Delta surge, in making sure that people get, say, not just the employees, near and dear ones, oxygen supply line call control. There was a war room created. There were location champions. So a lot of this happens. So Accenture has that muscle, that power to pull this off. So not just for a tip of the iceberg. For example, shift allowance right? So if somebody is working out of shifts, normal shift, cab allowance. So all these things are perks. Any bond. Yeah. So you should not sort of the green gems. No, yeah. My daughter says that the only bond Accenture believes is in the emotional bond. But that's the reason why I say that. See, why should a company enforce a bond? Yeah? When it does not believe in its ability to retain talent. நான் ட்ரெயின் பண்றேன் 3 மாசம் நான் ட்ரெயின் பண்றேன், நீ விட்டு போயிட்டு என்ன பண்ணுறது? கரெக்டா? அவங்க செய்யறது நியாயம். ஆக்சென்ச்சர் ஏன் பண்ணல? நீங்க வந்த உடனே உங்களுக்கு விட்டு போக தோணாது அப்படின்னு நம்புறோம். 17 இயர்ஸா இருக்கேன், அவர் 8 வருஷமா இருக்காரு, அவர் ஆக்சென்ச்சர்ஸ் தான் கேரியரே ஆரம்பிச்சாரு. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் வி ஆர் இன் சேஃபர் பொசிஷன் டு சே திஸ். டைரக்ட் உங்க கொஸ்டினுக்கு நோ.
What would be the maximum training period? Training period for you will initially there is 2 types of assessments or trainings that will be taken for you. Okay, maximum 2 months. Based on that training, you will be given an assessment as well, and based on your performance of the assessment, we will decide if you need further training or then you will be deployed to the project.
I know we are 4:01. As I told, we can take more questions. We will be here, and if you guys are delayed for the bus, yeah.
How many of you are ready to join Accenture? I feel all of you.
I have a photo. I'll show it and see all this.
Like, about எல்லாருமே கேட்ட கையை தூக்கி. Sir, thanks a lot. Alphonse, for being here at campus. Really want to thank all my students for being here patiently. And I hope Accenture, hope you will have a good company. And so it's a kind gesture that they were, so the team is here. It's not that so they should be here, but that shows that company students. So all our queries. Thanks a lot, sir, for being here at our campus. And so I feel all of you will register it. Already have registered with your tutor. The database will be shared by this evening, and you will get the notification shortly. So once I receive the mail from the recruitment team, so all the communication will be delivered to you. So make sure that you prepare well, and I wish you all the very best, and hope all of you should get your space to work in this company. So thanks a lot, and we will be here for few minutes, and whatever doubts you have, you can come over here and you can get it clarified. Thank you all.
Again, really sorry. Let's start. Thank you so much. You're very great.
உனக்கு தெரியாம இது
నరకరిస్తుందిగా